And so I'm really excited to be with you here today. This is actually my birthday, the day that this podcast is going live, and it's a few days before my birthday, our Reiki Share, when I'm sharing this with everybody. And you all know that I'm really guided as to what I'm talking about in each podcast. And the guidance came through, and I'm going to share this. I know it might be shocking, but the 16th day, which is a 7 day of the seventh month of the seventh year, is my 55th birthday. And so when I went in and asked Reiki, and I'm just going to ask anybody who's joining us, if you don't mind muting, we're just getting a little bit of feedback or a little bit of breathing in the podcast. But when I looked at those numbers, seven has always been, I never thought of the fact that I was born in I do think of the fact that I was born in the seventh month, and that's always been a favorite number of mine. And the seventh year, the fact that it's a seventh year this year, and the fact that the 16th, when in numerology, when you put the two numbers together, is the seventh day. So we've got 777 and a 55th birthday. And so when I did ask, hey, what are we talking about? I very clearly heard that that those numbers had some significance. And I realized that this Reiki Share, this podcast, was going to be going live right on my birthday. And my birthdays have always been odd. Nobody could ever attend because it was during summer vacation from school. People were on holidays. And I decided, you know what? I'm going to make this one a really important, big birthday and spend it with the people that I love. And that's you guys. So starting my birthday celebrations a little bit early this year. Before we go into the podcast too much, I just wanted to let you know a couple of things that we have coming up at the farm. Starting Monday, tomorrow, after the podcast goes live, is a level 1 and 2 Reiki class from Campobello. And then following that is a master class. And I know some of you are going to be attending that. Some of you that are here on the share with me, that class will be going out with the whales in the master class because we do have quite a few people coming in person. So we'll be doing that. I've seen the whales just the other day, just last weekend. We took my husband's uncle and his brother to dinner, and the minke whales and the porpoises were surfacing just as we were sitting on the deck watching. And then we actually went out to a point where we sometimes see whales, and we could really hear them blowing, and we saw a few minkies and a humpback. It's my first time. I've seen some finbacks, the big finbacks, but it was my first time seeing a humpback. So I was pretty excited about that because the whales are the way showers. And that's what we're talking about tonight. The whales are the memory keepers for other species, is what they've told me when I've communicated with them, that they hold the memories for other species, and just being in proximity with them transforms our DNA so that we remember our purpose. We remember what we came here to do, who we came here to be. We remember that joy is the path to our purpose. When you think on your life of what gives you joy, that is a part of your purpose. The joy, the actual feeling of joy, is there to let you know that, and joy is different from happiness. Happiness is usually shared, joy is usually internal. When you get that little ting of internal joy, that's usually a sign that you're living on purpose. And I know that I feel so much joy interacting with all of you, teaching Reiki. I know that I am one of those very fortunate people that gets to live my purpose. And that's what I wish for you guys as well. And speaking of that, my daughter and I just wrapped up an intensive 3-week Reiki marketing, business marketing intensive. We have Reiki business courses that we're launching. And we had people from, I think, 4 different continents in the class in several different countries. And the class was quite full. And we really threw a lot at people, and of course gave them the recordings and the slides so that they could unpack it over the summer and then gradually get their marketing in place so that you'll be ready with some aspects of it, at least by the fall, when people are more interested and looking around for Reiki practitioners. But I do want to let you know that in addition to the Reiki and animal Reiki classes in Campobello in July and in September this year. And then the courses, the Reiki classes and that we have here on the farm in October. We do have more of those courses coming. We've got a one-night goal setting course. And I think it's M that says a lone orca showed up this weekend. We have a lone orca whale as well, not near our island. I thought it was you, that it actually is by a neighboring island. And our lone orca actually swims with a pod of dolphins or porpoises, which is, I just found this out a few weeks ago. It's so very cool. And the same for you. That's so cool. So with these Reiki business courses that my daughter and I are creating, we just realized that we had learned so much in putting together our own Reiki businesses. And then, of course, with the Reiki business book and working with people, mentoring them, figuring out where the gaps are, what they needed to learn, and where they needed help to get their own businesses going. And a lot of you are aware of the motivation of writing the Reiki business book was so that I could help you get your businesses going so that we could get more Reiki out into the world. And I loved the Reiki business course, the 3-week marketing intensive. We will have a 3-week business skills intensive coming up. We'll also have a one-night session, like just one evening, on overcoming any challenges or issues that you have with or around money, because that seems to show up for a lot of Reiki practitioners. And finally, we also will have a session, a one-night session on goal setting. And my daughter said, Mom, you're really good at setting goals and meeting them. And could you teach people, or could you show people how you do that? And of course, I do it in combination with Reiki. There's techniques in Reiki that you put together. So I'm really excited to start unraveling those. And there is a link to those courses on our website, and there will be a link in this newsletter this week. If those are of interest to you, by all means join us. And those courses are going to start in September. So guys, just getting to the topic tonight, there's a few things that have been showing up lately that I wanted to talk to you about. And in fact, the title of this came out to be Ignite Your Inner Light, the Way Shower's Journey with Reiki and Energetic Leadership. I'm really excited that you can be here. I want to talk to you a little bit before I go into what is a way shower, which is the main thing we're going to talk about this week. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the numbers and alignment. But the first thing I'm going to invite everybody to do before we go too far in is just bring your hands together in Gasho, close your eyes, and just activate your Reiki energy and any symbols that you might have. And so this 7th day of the 7th month in a 7th universal year, or the 7-day, it's a really day of powerful alignments and milestones and symbolism. And the number 55 has a lot of significance too. And so as we come together in this shared journey of spiritual growth on a special day together, just open your hearts, open your ears, open your mind, open your soul, and just receive all of the healing and all of the messages that Reiki has for you today as we look to just open a little bit more to our authentic selves and the expression of our authentic selves today. And we appreciate the light that you are in the world, the way shower. Aho. Namaste. Go ahead and place your hands comfortably on your body, guys, to give yourselves Reiki as we go through our talk today and move into our meditation. So when the energy told me that we were talking about sevens, like the dates and the sevens and the 55, the number, I decided to look it up. And I discovered that seven is considered the thinker, the searcher of truth, and the seeker. And in numerology, it's a number of both introspection and inner wisdom. And the fact that the day that this podcast is going to launch, my birthday, the 7 day of a 7 month of a 7 universal year, I think that just amplifies all of this energy, and it invites us to go deeper into our spiritual journey and just look for that inner truth and understanding from within. And I also love that the number 7, we're going to talk a little bit tonight about the 12 heavens. We're going to go into that in our meditation. And the 7th heaven is probably my favorite of the 12 heavens. And some of you know this material, some of you don't, but it's okay. I'm going to explain it in the meditation as we go through what each heaven does, and we're going to spend a little bit of time in each one. But the 7th heaven is the heaven that heals the ego. And the ego has been such an interesting, healing the ego has been such an interesting journey for me. And I mean, it's a work in progress. It will always be a work in progress. But I've been able to witness the progression, and I'm so thrilled with it. The ego, we often think of ego as people who really think a lot of themselves. Actually, that's insecurity. The ego a lot of times shows up as fear for people. And of course, we've talked in this podcast before about duality, the fact that we live in a world of duality, but the spiritual realms, once we go beyond the 3rd heaven, are no longer dual. So duality means there's a combination, there's both love and fear. When we go beyond the 3rd heaven, there's no more duality, there's only love. And so the fear drops away. So the ego a lot of times shows up as fear. So many times when there's change happening in our lives, or when we've been asked to step forward or step into something, like even me being asked to step into politics, that's I always tend to resist, and there's a little bit of fear, a little bit of nervousness that comes up. For me, that's ego. That's the ego saying, hold on, are you sure we want to do this? Are we sure it's safe? And it's a little bit of a sober second thought. And the ego that is unhealed can really hold you back. But the ego that is healed in the 7th heaven has the frequency or the energy that can provide that healing. The ego that's healed can keep up with your spiritual growth and can really help. In fact, William Rand talks in our Reiki Master Manual about the fact that the healed ego is a vehicle for the expression of the higher energetic and heavenly frequencies on earth. And so when Holy Fire showed up, it let us know that it has the intention of making it heaven on earth, bringing the heavenly frequencies. And I don't know about you guys, but I am a lot of sensitive people. I know you're sensitive people, so you're probably feeling this. I am feeling a shift lately. And that shift, I think, goes along with the number 55. The number 55 says this is a period of out with the old and in with the new. And so it tells us to welcome these changes as they bring about new blessings. And we all know that many of us, when it comes to change, it can be a little difficult. And so I know that you guys aren't my age. I know that this isn't your birthday, but it's this energy that I've been feeling swirling around the planet. And I really want to share it with you. In fact, 55 is a master number symbolic of freedom. And which is funny, I don't know about all over the world, but we used to have a thing, Freedom 55. They encouraged you to put money into your RRSPs so that you could retire at 55, which is, I always knew that I had no intention of retiring. I love doing this work, but I think it's neat that 55 is about freedom, independence, and also the spirit of adventure. And I laugh about that because anybody who knows me knows I love a good adventure. So now, as I'm stepping into that 55th year, I remember a friend of mine, and I've never minded aging. It's much better than the alternative. I love being on this planet. And I've lost a lot of very dear friends. And so I think that's really impacted my the way that I view aging. I know that many of my dear friends that aren't here would love to have had a few more years or have gotten to 55. So as I step into the 55th year, I just think about freedom. And one of the things that stands out to me is the freedom that we now have in our spiritual journey. And a lot of you probably work with ancestral memories, histories, traumas, injuries, even the ancestors, as I do. And with working with the ancestors so much, it's really caused me to become aware that we're the generation that we have the things that they wanted for us. They wanted a life that was easier for us. They wanted us to have all these advantages. And one of the very real advantages that we have that most of our even close ancestors, maybe even parents, didn't have is the right of religious expression, the freedom of religious expression. I remember having a conversation with my mentor, Colleen Benelli, about that and the fact that in the US, Jimmy Carter actually brought that in. And prior to that, it was very difficult for even our Native American friends to express their spirituality in the way that honored their traditions. And it was difficult for a lot of people. So we have that freedom in our spiritual journey, and then that leads to adventure. There's adventure, I find, around every corner. And we also have the independence that we need to be able to make a unique imprint on the world. And these things weren't always available to our ancestors. It's important to remember that our ancestors, and even the ones that didn't allow us to be who we were and express who we were, they were always doing that out of love for us. They were always doing that out of a fear of persecution, a fear that we wouldn't be treated fairly. And we really live in a beautiful world now. And I know that I know even recently here in our province, um, there have been attempts at removing some of the freedoms of some of our LGBTQIA community. And I'm happy to say that there was a real pushback on that. So that's interesting. And the other concept that I wanted to bring into our talk tonight and talk about in a little more depth is the word way shower. It's been showing up in my sessions lately. A lot of you know that when I do sessions with people, a lot of the information, a lot of the meditation is just channeled. And the word way shower has been showing up. And I thought, way shower, that is a great word. And I think when you bring it together with Reiki, it just beautifully intertwines with that concept of energetic leadership. That's how I interpret it. So just looking at it, I thought, I wonder how it would be defined. So the term way shower might be something you haven't heard before. I only just heard it recently in these sessions. But if you could just imagine, the way it shows up to me is as if we're a lighthouse guiding others through the storm using our light to help them navigate. That's what a way shower does, spiritual, like in a spiritual sense. Now, if you imagine bringing that together with Reiki, that combination forms this beautiful synergy that lifts us up, but in doing so, it lifts up those around us. And it's a little bit of a passive term. So many times, so many of us get into this work because we want to change the world. And it can be a bit of a surprise when we realize that actually you just have to change yourself and that changes the world. So rather than sending the energy out to try to change people, just change yourself and that changes the world. And so the term way shower is that as you elevate your energetic frequency, you're able to, just by being, not by doing, not by forcing anything on anybody else, you're able to be that beacon of light that shows other people how to get there. So if we think about this in a broader spiritual context, It might refer to someone who's progressed on their own spiritual journey and in doing so helps guide others. So that might involve things like teaching, healing, leading by example, or just even encouraging and supporting others. I know that's one of my favorite things to do. Tracy Sullivan recently, in a presentation she did at the Northeast Reiki retreat, had gone in and read my chart from the Jovian archives, my human design chart. And she said, Pam, not only do you have 11 markers, where I think 4 is considered a lot, of working with people, and I thought I didn't want to work with people, but Reiki helped me uncover my authentic self so that I realized I really love people and did want to work with them. She said the animal communication is something that's coming, and she felt that by the fact that I had happened to get my energy into a place where I could hear the animals, and then I figured out how to teach others to do that. That's being a way shower in a way. So it's a passive way of leading others by shining your light, just shining your inner light, acting like a beacon in their spiritual journey. There doesn't even always involve words or explanations. It can just be elevating yourself and shining your light. So that's what we're going to work on today and what we're going to explore. Now, when we bring Reiki into the picture, that elevates our ability to guide and assist others. That brings a really beautiful divine or spiritual component into this. And then the other term that has been showing up a little bit along with way shower is energetic leadership. And so these are just a few new things that I'm exploring, but I always love sharing these with you and getting your feedback, which is the energetic leadership, I think, I know what I've been asked to do by stepping into a leadership role with the ICRT as an assistant director, stepping into a role with the Green Party, and so environmental energetic leadership. I think we're all being asked to step up into that role of energetic leadership. And of course, it involves having our house in order. It involves working on ourselves, elevating our energy, and then using our energy to motivate, inspire, and or guide others on their paths. So this really, if you're open to it, I believe this is something that I've been very happy to step into. I think it's an enriching journey. It's about just doing our self-healing and growth, and that just in doing that helps others, people find their light. And that's where energetic leadership shines and shows up, when we guide others on their path. And it just brings about this environment of positivity and growth. It can be so easy to get overwhelmed by some of the events on the world, and sometimes in the world, and sometimes the problems weigh us down. And that's another conversation that Colleen and I have had, is the fact that the solutions don't exist where the problem is. You must get above the problem in order to find the solution. And I feel that with our energetic leadership, we can just stay above the problem, stay higher, and we can be a way shower. You don't have to shine your light in people's eyes. Like, when they're ready to look for it, it'll be there. So it always begins with us elevating our frequency. Now, if you decide to embrace the path of the way shower, is what I'm going to call it tonight, with Reiki, it can be transformative. It's about all these things that I mentioned and stepping into that role as an energetic leader. So these numbers, their meanings, and the alignment that we're experiencing right now in this 7th month of the 7th year, I think connects us more strongly to our life purpose and brings about a heightened sense of purpose. And I also think the time is now to step forward. I think that we're being invited not just to figure out what our inner truth is, but I think we're invited then to express it, and to express it freely, adventurously, respectfully, and in a way that inspires others. And in a way, when we think about the holy fire frequency of energy, and of course, Reiki as well, is always encouraging us to find our authentic self. And holy fire in particular, especially at the master level, we're uncovering and then learning to express our authentic self. We're letting go of things like the dormant self, which are the parts of us we don't like and might have suppressed, and the culturally created self, all of the things that we've been trained to, in order to fully express our truth and our authentic self. We're going to go through the 12 heavens, the sevens, the 55s, and there's one other concept before I go into our meditation. I do want to also just check and see if you guys have any questions about any of this, because of course it's just all things that have been channeled through lately. But I do want to talk about another concept that's really near and dear to my heart, and that's world peace, Reiki. And the fact that a little over a year ago, it coincided with the outbreak of the Ukraine war. Reiki elevated itself to bring in an element of world peace. And this is really close to my heart. It's about promoting global healing through the power of collective consciousness. And it makes me think that if we all collectively direct our healing energies to the world as way showers, we can really have a significant impact working together. And I know we can. I know there are hundreds of people that listen to this podcast every week. And I think that, and it doesn't matter when you listen, the distance symbol connects us all, connects all of our hearts and our minds and our spirits, our bodies, and our intentions. And if we form an intention as a way shower to bring more peace into the world, and that too starts with inner peace, because our outer world always reflects our inner world. So if there's turmoil in your outer world, just be aware there's turmoil in your inner world, or if there's turmoil in your inner world, there will likely be turmoil in your outer world. And so I feel that as way showers, we're perfectly placed to champion this cause. So today, my birthday, I wonder if you would consider carrying the spirit of the sevens and the 55s with you. I'd like to draw on their energy as we connect with our inner light, guide ourselves and others on this path. And again, the sevens will connect us with our authentic truth, and the 55, encouraging us to express it with freedom, independence, and a spirit of adventure. I'm so thankful that you've joined me on this special day and are sharing with me this alignment of energies that is happening. And I hope that all of us, as we move forward, including me, can remember the importance of seeking our truth, expressing it freely, and guiding others with it. Now, I expect some of you might be a little bit curious about some of this right now. So this is my favorite part. I'd just like to open the floor to some questions before we go into our meditation today. So let's just turn this a little less into a monologue, a little more into a conversation. Does anybody have any questions or comments about any of what's been coming through? I'll just quickly look at the chat to see. Any questions or comments, guys? Or is everybody ready for the meditation?
Quick question for you.
Of course.
I don't understand when you're talking about the 7th year, when I look at it being, oh, now I get it.
Yeah. Sorry, I probably should have explained that concept. Yeah.
Now I get it. It's adding all of them. I forgot about the 20 at the beginning. I was looking at the 23.
23, which is 5, but yeah, 2023. So
forgot to add.
Absolutely. Yeah, you totally got it. So yeah, thank you for that though, because no, I didn't explain that. They call this a 7th universal year because in numerology, you usually add up a number and you just keep reducing it down until you get to a single number. So if you've got 2023, you've got 2023. So 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 3 is 7. So that gives us a 7 universal year. And my birthday being the 16th day is 1 plus 6. 7. And then, of course, the 7th month. So as this podcast goes live, we are looking at 777. And that's our authentic truth. That's all about truth, being a seeker and coming toward our authentic truth. Thank you so much for the question. Anybody else have a question today? No, Em just said she thought she was the only person who played with numbers that way. I'm not. I've only just dipped into numerology, but I love it because I love numbers. I've always been that kind of weird geeky kid who like got 99 in math because I always love math and science. And so I love playing with numbers like that. And yeah. And something I just had read, you only know how to pay the tax man. That's a pretty good practical skill to have. so, so that's not bad. Any other questions, you guys, or comments?
Can you hear me?
I can.
Oh, good, because I'm in my car. I have no idea. This is Susan. I just want to say thank you so much.
What's that?
Happy birthday, and thank you so much for this reminder of the way shower. Even though we did discuss it, I think it's like when did I hear her talking about that? Oh yeah, it was in the marketing class.
Yeah.
But it's just so important to remember that the reason I'm here in teaching Reiki, or going to be teaching Reiki, is not because of me, it's because of everyone else. So that makes me very emotional, but in a good way. Of course, it has nothing to do with me. This is not about me. This is about me showing up, showing the way. You get the idea of it. I don't even know what I'm saying. I just wanted to say thank you for that reminder, because I'm working on my website and a lot of fear is coming up. So a lot of ego is coming up. So
ego always showed up to me as fear, Susan. I had a difficult time working on my website. It's at under construction for 2 years. It can be hard to put yourself out there. And it took a lot of reminders from Reiki telling me like this, it wasn't about me. As a teacher, yes, I could try to be the best teacher possible, but it was really about just providing that opportunity for the student to connect with the energy, because that's where the magic is. That's where it all happens. Oh, thank you for being vulnerable and sharing that.
And I'm just going to put on top of that too, that one of the reasons that I chose to study with you and with this form of Reiki, even though it's in my lineage already, having been attuned years and years ago, but William Rand and you probably, but people talk about in this lineage about there is no competition. And I've always appreciated that in anything that I've taught. There is no competition. People come to one person or the other because of, I would say, even soul related reasons, and not whether your website looks a certain way or something. It's good to have it look nice, but we don't have to compete with each other. And that's like the letting go of the ego and the fear too. There's not enough students to go around. Obviously, there are billions of people on this planet.
There's more than 8 billion people on the planet. There are enough students for every single one of us to be teaching full time for the rest of our lives.
How many billion people on the planet now?
I believe there's over 8 billion.
Over 8, yes.
The number used to be 7, but I know it's over 8, but I haven't kept track of where it is. Over 8. There are students for everyone. And I agree with you. And I got shivers when you said soul group. And in fact, I've noticed that the students that show up in my classes and the people that show up, I've had a past life memory of teaching at a mystery school, like on the other side. And I could see myself teaching at the mystery school and everything. And I was a beautiful Black woman and loved teaching there, and actually only decided to come to Earth because probably ego, I think, because somebody said, okay, I'm going. But I really, a lot of times the students, like all of you and the people that show up, I'm like, I really feel that we've been together before. I feel like maybe I had the privilege of working with a lot of people and teaching them before. And you're absolutely right. I think it's a soul alignment of some sort whatever it is. It might be soul group, whatever it is. It's a spiritual alignment that brings each student to each teacher. And so it's important for us to step up and get out there so that the people that are aligned with us can move forward with their journeys.
And I think we need more books about your memories, about not just your memories, but our soul memories like that, and movies and other stories. Being in Los Angeles and Hollywood, I think movies, but books would do well too. But just one last thing, and then I'll let someone else talk. When you were talking about all the pets and animals earlier, I was actually at the pet store getting some food for my cats that was really necessary, and now I'm at a I had to do this. I'm so sorry. I'm at the gas station, but across from me is a psychic healer shop, and there was a beautiful young-looking German Shepherd with its paws up on the half door, just looking out, just looking around for the longest time, going, "Hello, world, hello." I'm like, "Hello, all the Reiki people, say hello to you."
They can feel it. They can feel. That's why Smitten the kitten always shows up. Cara says she can be in the other room and she'll run in.
I love it. I had never seen this dog before, and I've come here. This is my place where I come for gas, and there he was saying hello. So that's it. That's my 2 cents.
I love it. Thank you, Susan.
You're welcome. Okay.
Thank you. And Terry says she taught her first level 1 Yusui class this past week on a labyrinth with 7 circuits, and on July 7th of the 7th year. So you just nailed the 777, Terry. Congratulations. I tend to do that too. I ask Reiki, should I teach? And then I may not be aware of the importance of what's happening, but somebody will come into my class and say, "Do you realize this is the eclipse of the something?" And whatever else. And Jolene says you want to learn more about the way shower. And I think, Jolene, what we're going to, congratulations, Terry, first time teaching in 35 years. And the medical Reiki is just great. Wow, I love this. And so well done, you guys. I appreciate you.
Can I ask you one question about way shower?
Yeah.
I was thinking about, you talked about how way shower is us being the beacon to show the way, to show everyone else about it. But isn't it also, in a way, Reiki is, when you say it's not about us, yet in a way, Reiki is working, we're learning from Reiki too. So it is about us, that we're getting our own enlightenment and learning about ourselves and learning to heal ourselves. So I find the duality, I guess you would say, of it, where we are the way showers to other people, yet it is about us in a way.
Yeah, Diana, I never thought of the term duality with it, but yes, there is a complexity to it, because it's being a way shower really only involves elevating our own energy. So yes, that part of it is about us. And then when I was saying it's not about us, I really was actually referring to teaching, meaning that when we are in a place to teach, many of us, it's nerve-wracking, actually. A lot of people, it can be a bit frightening to teach, and you wonder, oh, am I going to do a good enough job? Am I going to represent Reiki very well? Are my students going to get what they need from my classes? Am I going to be able to answer the questions? And it's that part that I mean is not about us. Being a way shower is completely about us. It's completely just about elevating our consciousness, really elevating our frequency. But when it's time to teach, it's really actually just providing the opportunity for the student to connect with the Reiki. So I was actually meaning two different things.
Okay.
Yeah. Does that help, or does that just sound?
It does. It does.
Okay. Good. Thank you. Any other questions, you guys, before we?
Pam?
Yeah.
One of the things about the business course that you and your lovely daughter just taught has affected me is getting the ego out of the way. And once the ego kind of stepped aside a little bit, all of a sudden, one of my clients called me and she said, "Hey, we're having a horse show and you have to show up and set up a booth for everybody that's coming to this horse show."
Wow.
And I about fell off the sofa. She's a very good client and we have a nice relationship. But it was just like she tried to do a couple of clinics. The weather, she calls it being bipolar, it wouldn't cooperate. So she had to cancel. So now she's doing a horse show instead. And she said, "You've got to be there." And I'm like, I have to equate that with my ego and fear
Yeah.
getting out of my way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks to the course.
We did do a few. So that's one of the things with the course. It's not just information. We would bring in the Reiki energy to then support every section that we taught. And I'm so glad, Cara, that worked for you like that, because what a wonderful opportunity.
Yeah, she has over 30 horses just on her property. You think
Now
you've got a
now
lot.
you've got 30 new horses and horse people
I've worked
exposed
with
to Reiki.
probably
Well done.
a third of them.
Wow.
And to have her do that, and that I think is how one of those little ways that you don't realize the shift in your own energy and how it goes out to other people
Yeah.
without you even knowing that it's happening.
It's so interesting, isn't it, that you don't even necessarily have to do anything else but let your energy shift, and also releasing limitations, like any most of the limitations that exist in stepping forward with this work are self-inflicted, honestly. They're limitations. So that's why also working on ourselves can just continually release those limitations and let us step forward. So congratulations. That's a
Thank
fantastic
you.
gig. Wow. I'm so pleased for you, Cara.
Thank you.
Just bringing that. Did anybody else have any questions before I move on?
I do, Pam. Just
Yeah,
a quick
maybe.
question.
Yeah.
Just thinking about the different concepts over the years, we talked about some time ago that we were light workers. Then that sort of transformed into light bringers, shining light. And I wonder whether this is transforming now into way showers or whether it still keeps us separate as light bringers.
So with way showers, I should be really clear. This is just something that's coming through to me
Yeah.
and in my session. So it's not going to really change the philosophy of Holy Fire Reiki or the way that we teach classes, except that I'll probably bring it up in my classes that my Reiki guidance has been using the term way shower, that I think we're being asked to step forward. So I think we are still a light worker. I think we are still a light bringer. Like, I think all of the terms apply. It's more of a, I think it's more of a synthesis than a replace. Like, we're a light worker when we're working, when we're being active. With the Reiki, we're light bringers when we're being more passive with the Reiki. Just we bring the light with us wherever we go. And the way shower, I think though the way shower is a choice. And the way that it's been showing up is the way that it's been showing up in my sessions. So I'm really glad you asked that question. Is it's been more like you have the opportunity or the potential to be a way shower if you choose to be. And so I think, of course, light bringer is a choice too, I guess, come to think of it. And so is light worker. But I do think the way shower, it's do you want to step into this form of leadership?
Yeah,
And
that makes sense to me too. Yeah. It's
yeah.
just a nice way to think about it all. Yeah. Thank you.
Oh, you're so welcome. I just, you know how it is. I just can't keep these things. Oh, good, Diana. She said that makes sense. I just can't keep these things to myself. When they start showing up, I've got to share them with you guys. So anyway, it's a good thing that I'm not in charge of the manuals or anything, because so they would have to change all the time. But oh, thank you, Mary. So guys, just remembering that each of us has a unique light, and that's what's important. You know, that spiritual alignment that Susan was talking about, like each of us has a unique light within us. And so we're each in a position to work with different people or to help different people. I was just talking about this today with my reflexologist, talking about how she also incorporates cranial sacral and Reiki. And I love that Reiki embraces and encourages us to bring together any modalities that we're guided to bring together, and bring them together with Reiki, which sometimes even elevates the modality, that synergy that is created with that. Because maybe the language of Reiki, I know that the language of Reiki speaks to me. And we were actually talking about the fact that for her son, religion really speaks to him. And he's feeling that there might be some disparity between the two. And I was reminded of Tracy Sullivan's podcast with me about Reiki and Catholicism, and the fact that her mom was just very, very connected with the Catholic Church and went to church several times a week and so on. And one day in church, Tracy felt what she would feel in a Reiki session in the church. It only ever happened once, but she thought to herself, oh, I wonder if this is what my mother gets from attending church. And one day, as Tracy was doing a Reiki session, her mother said she got a feeling that came over her that was the same as what she felt in church. And whatever you want to call that, I think from a Christian perspective, it would probably be called the Holy Spirit or something along those lines, of divine energy, universal energy. But I'm glad that we have all different ways of connecting with Source, so that everybody can find the language and the person and the group and so on that works for them. And it goes down to an even smaller level with no competition. And the fact that sometimes people need a specific person to be their way shower, their guide in their journey. So just honoring the uniqueness of each of us, and the fact that we can, as a way shower, allow Reiki to help us shine our light, our unique light, our spirit a little brighter, illuminating not only our path, but also the paths of the people around us. And I think, Diana, that's what you were talking about. So if there's only one thing that you guys take away today, I hope it is this, that you are capable of sparking change in the world, but it usually starts with changing yourself. And sometimes it's just a change of perspective or perception. For instance, so many of us that get into this work don't fully appreciate our gifts and our talents and our abilities. A lot of people suffer from imposter syndrome or worthiness, and so maybe that's what needs to change. Not your beautiful spirit, not who you are, but so often what needs to change is letting go of our perceptions or the limitations that we place on ourselves, because you're powerful. Your light is powerful and you're powerful, and believing that you're not is probably it's not your truth. Okay, so I just really appreciate all of you for your openness, your curiosity. This is a super busy time of year, and yet all of you showed up this evening and later on for the podcast. So I appreciate letting me discuss this with you. And I want us to continue to ignite our inner lights, radiate love, healing, and peace in our world, and just be a way shower for anybody who wants to be shown, because the world needs your light. So with that in mind, I'd just like us to move into a meditation today. So I'd invite everybody to make yourselves comfortable. And this is a meditation to ignite your inner light and to bring about that special alignment within you that we've been talking about. Just reflecting on the significance of the 7th month, the 7th universal year, on a day marked by the energy of the number 716. It's a time for introspection, seeking truth and wisdom, and also with the number 55, my 55th birthday, we're also touched by the energy of freedom and adventure. So we're going to incorporate all of these energies into our meditation. So I'd just like to invite you to find a comfortable spot, close your eyes. Take a few slow, deep breaths, bringing your hands into Gasho. And just center yourself in the here and now. Feeling the rhythm of your breath, grounding you in the present. And just envisioning a warm golden light descending from the universe. The light of Reiki intertwined with the wisdom of the number 7, urging and encouraging you to seek the truth within. Imagine the light flowing to in front of your hands, through your hands and into your heart. And as you inhale, imagine the light flowing into your body on your breath, filling you with the energy of introspection and understanding. I invite you to place your hands on your heart now as you open your heart and receive, as your authentic truth is revealed to you and will remain here for a few moments. Imagine a vibrant flame within your heart center, ignited by that golden light. And this flame represents your inner light, your spiritual freedom, symbolized by the number 55. And as you breathe in, feel this flame growing brighter and stronger and spreading a sense of liberation and adventure through your being. I invite you to open your heart and receive now your authentic freedom. We're going to journey through the 12 heavens, allowing the energies of the 7s and 55 to guide you, allowing Reiki to guide you. Each heaven represents a level of spiritual growth and is illuminated by your inner flame. I invite you to witness the wisdom and understanding as they deepen, as you ascend through the heavens or descend through the heavens. Experience a sense of spiritual freedom growing within. If you have the distance symbol, I invite you to imagine the distance symbol taking you inside into your heart, for the 12 heavens exist within you, the kingdom of God within. And we know what the first and second heavens duality look like. We live in that space. Today we're starting at the 3rd heaven. So just imagine that there's a beautiful bridge in front of you. Imagine crossing that bridge. As you cross the bridge, you enter the third heaven, where only love exists, and you feel the duality, the energy of duality just fall away from you. It doesn't belong here, it can't enter here, and so it remains on the bridge. In the third heaven, all of the beings have healed egos and are an expression of God's love, awareness, and power, and are connected with unlimited energy, joy, peace, and happiness. The energy in this heaven is powerful enough to overcome any difficulties you may have in your life. As you enter this heaven, I invite you to focus on something you're ready and willing to release. Any difficulty, any duality. Find yourself a comfortable place to settle down in this heaven. And just allow the light and the brothers and sisters of the light and the enlightened spiritual beings of the third heaven and the divine animal kingdom to surround you and just help you release whatever difficulty that exists in your life on this earth. You don't have to do anything to earn its release. You simply have to be willing to let it go. So form an intention now to release it with love and allow the third heaven energy to do what it does so well. Now you get up and there's another bridge in front of you. It takes us into the fourth heaven where we receive additional healing. This healing includes an awareness of and a trust in the ideas that a higher way of living life is possible. And it releases any unhealthy competitiveness that may exist within you. Go ahead and enter that heaven. Settle yourself down and just be open to the fact that a higher way of living life is possible. An acceptance of the higher guidance and a release of any unhealthy competitiveness. Go ahead and open your heart and welcome any new energies from the fourth heaven that might heal and empower you. You open your eyes now and there's another heaven in front of you. This is the fifth heaven. In the fifth heaven, it begins a continuing process of leading the dormant self into the direction of complete healing and allowing the authentic self to replace the culturally created self. Now, this process takes place at a rate that is right for each and every one of us. And for some, it may be fast, some it may be slow. For right now, we're just going to step across that short bridge into the fifth heaven and allow the energy of the fifth heaven to begin leading your dormant self to healing and releasing your culturally created self so that your authentic self might come to the forefront. Just remain here for a few moments, knowing that this process will continue long after our meditation tonight is complete. Bringing all of the energies that we've experienced with us as we continue going deeper. We open our eyes and see another bridge where we enter the sixth heaven. And on this level, our intellect begins healing. It shifts around the idea that and attitude that knowledge makes us better than others. Following up on the line of competitiveness, instead, knowledge becomes valued for how it can be used to improve the quality of our lives. This heaven brings improvements in communication. It can provide a noticeable level of healing. In fact, you may notice that it starts to bring Reiki through your voice so that people who you speak with receive healing. And if you write or create music or dance, any form of expression, these are all elevated and healed at this time. It brings a greater depth of understanding. We'll breathe here for a few moments. Here for a short time, we still bring this energy with us as we open our eyes and see another bridge. Crossing this bridge, we are aware that we're entering into the seventh heaven. And all of those number sevens that we've been talking about today begin to fire up. This level deals with healing the ego. Because if our purpose is to bring spiritual values to the material world, then that can be most effectively done through a healed ego. In fact, the healed ego becomes a vehicle for the expression of higher consciousness in the material world. And as we know that the ego is often associated with fear and discomfort moving forward, we consciously release that with love at the same time as we allow this energy to begin healing our egos today. We open our eyes and step across the bridge into the eighth heaven. heaven that's filled with gratitude and self-awareness, and it's a place where any restrictions or limitations we might have unknowingly placed on ourselves become known to us as illusions and fly away, disappearing into nothingness. This opens a clear space all around us and brings an incredible lightness of being. As you breathe now, just allow the frequency of the eighth heaven energies to release your limitations. Some of them you may be aware of, and others you may not. I invite you to open your eyes yet again and move into the ninth heaven, which is where we become aware of our human and divine natures. It's an awareness that our physical body is the spiritual home of our divine consciousness. Our body gives our spirit life and breath. In the ninth heaven, a unification process begins in that what once seemed separate becomes lovingly, compatibly, and harmoniously joined together. It results in a feeling that all is right within ourselves and with everything around us. We'll breathe here for a while. We open our eyes once again, and this time we step across the bridge into the 10th heaven, which is a continuation of the previous heaven, where we realize even more completely that our divine nature is part of our human nature. Let's breathe here together. Once more and look at another bridge that takes us to the 11th heaven, where the essential skills and abilities we need to fulfill our life purpose are understood. This leads us to be motivated to acquire and develop these personal resources. We'll breathe here together. Across the bridge into the 12th heaven. And here we gain an understanding of our purpose on earth. Our divine consciousness becomes more fully embodied, and we begin to manifest the fulfillment of our life purpose. The energy of the 12th heaven opens a pathway into the future in which any obstacles that may have blocked our journey are healed and released, and it allows us to settle into a feeling of trust and confidence, and knowing that no matter what, with our intentions and with Reiki's assistance, we will succeed in accomplishing our life purpose. We can relax and feel safe in that. Let's breathe here together for a moment. Gradually bring your focus back to your heart center under your hands, your vibrant inner flame, that beacon of wisdom, that symbol of your spiritual freedom, and the light that guides others on their paths as you become a way shower. We move into a space of gratitude for the opportunity to be here together today, for the opportunity to be way showers with and for each other, for these shared energies and the beautiful journey that they illuminate. Take a few more breaths and then gently open your eyes, bringing with you these profound energies of the heavens and of introspection, freedom, and adventure, bringing them with you into your daily lives. Remember, my friends, your journey as a way shower and an energetic leader is guided by these powerful energies. Embrace them, express them, and don't be afraid to share your light with the world. I'd like to thank you for sharing this meditation with me. Thank you for being here today, tonight. Ahomataku and namaste.